Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. Well, it's been a unprecedented week just passed, and we're reaching the end of the weekend. NBA basketball, NHL hockey, a lot of the other sports have started resuming games, but I do want to touch on this stoppage, the NBA players that decided to boycott the games, and it led to all the leagues deciding to take a pause, and a much needed pause so we can reflect on many aspects of the social injustice and things that have happened since George Floyd months ago and Jacob Blake just in the last week. So I've decided to hook up with Jason Cameron so we can shed some light on many aspects of this. And thanks so much for your time today, Jason. I appreciate it a lot.
Yep, no problem. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So that pause was, as I said, much needed. The NBA has decided to form a coalition, and I'm going to read a little bit of the statement that was released. The NBA and its players have agreed to immediately establish a social justice coalition with representatives from players, coaches, and governors of states. They'll be focused on a broad range of issues, including increasing access to voting, promoting civic engagement, and advocating for meaningful police and criminal justice reform. There's a lot more to that statement. I welcome you to read it on our website and on our posts on our podcast platforms. But really excited that finally the NBA has formed a coalition. The NHL had formed their hockey coalition months ago, and now the NBA has been able to get their voices heard and get this coalition. Were you excited and happy to hear that this is another step?
Of course. Yeah, man. Like it's awesome to see that these guys are obviously clearly that invested in the process of trying to affect change, not just, wear the t-shirts or say the slogans or whatever, but to actually affect real change. And they're going about it the right way as far as I'm concerned. And then, with the NBA being unified on this front, not just the players just going off and doing it by themselves, but I mean with the owners and the NBA administrative staff and all of that all logged in together. And then also to manage to get some of the governors of certain states on board. It's excellent. It's a move in the right direction, and it's hope for the future for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Another aspect of this was that they're going to open up all the arenas where NBA teams and NHL teams house the particular teams. Sorry, I can't. I don't know why I couldn't spit that out. But all the NBA arenas are going to open it up for voting, which is good. It's definitely something that we see on the back of a lot of the players. Please vote. This is a very crucial vote in the history of U.S. and it's great that they'll open that up. It might decrease the lines. A lot of voters have always complained about long lines and not having that ability to go there and quickly make their vote heard and move on. I was frustrated by the last federal vote here. There was like a 3-hour lineup to place my vote, and it was pretty shocking occurrence when you arrive there and you can't believe the line that you see. And I drove around to some other polling stations and it seemed like the same vote all over the place. So that was a really great move that the league made along with the players.
Oh yeah, just providing the facilities, large facilities at that, to help facilitate the voting process is amazing. It's amazing that everybody could come together and decide that yes, we'll use our arenas to help people get their votes in, because at this point in time, I think you can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt, every vote absolutely counts. Point in time, every vote absolutely counts. And if you want to see effective change, you got to get out there and you got to make sure that your voice is heard. You have to vote.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I was really happy that the NBA took a pause. NHL was criticized a bit for not taking the pause, but then they really stepped up the following day. Really got together behind the coalition that the NHL Diversity Alliance has been able to create, and yeah, it was great to see the Vancouver Canucks were spearheading that initiative. They had contacted Ryan Reeves and said, "We really want to stand behind you and let us know what we can do to further your movement." And Bo Horvat, I guess, was the main spearhead for that with the Canucks organization behind him. Yeah, it was exciting and really nice to see that the NHL got in line and did the same thing that the NBA had just done.
Oh yeah, man. We all understand that the NHL does their population of visible minorities is rather small compared to the other professional leagues. But I was so happy to see that they took the step necessary for change, for the fight for social justice. And I was even happier to see that the Canucks were forefront in that push to make sure that, you know what, we need to be a part of this process as well. We need to make sure that it is not okay what's happening in the US and around the world at this point in time.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy, and yeah, it was nice. It was really nice that the world was able to reflect again and put this top of the news cycle, and we wouldn't have this forgotten, swept under the rug after a few months, and yeah, back to the action. They were able to schedule some games starting yesterday, and unfortunately, there was in the basketball world, there was a couple of deaths with Clifford Robinson and Lute Olson. And then there was a death in the entertainment world, a guy that has played some very prominent roles in some sport movies, and one of the biggest movies of all time, Chadwick Boseman. His family released the details that he passed away at the age of 43 from colon cancer, a 4-year battle that most everybody didn't know about. He kept it private, and through the filming of a lot of his most important movies, was sick and going through this battle, and unfortunately he lost the battle. It shocked me right to my core, and yeah, I wanted to let you know, and yeah, I'm sure it affected you a lot, because I know he was a meaningful guy to you and the Black community as a whole.
Oh yeah, because of just of the how well he represented so many of the icons, whether they be fictional or non-fictional. He was just a great man and a great actor. And of course, it's a shock to see a man of that magnitude all of a sudden pass because, as you said, he kept his sickness private, and so nobody knew that he was sick. I was I was definitely shocked at his passing and saddened as well. Um, but I'm sure that the man is in a better place, and his legacy that he's left is going to carry on through the decades for sure. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one Black Panther, and it's Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they were talking about the sequel coming out in 2022, so they would have had to start filming it any time now. That was the first Black superhero, and he was a really a beacon of light for so many Black people that really wanted to have a Marvel superhero. That Black Panther, when you watch that, I think you told me that it was the favorite movie that you've ever witnessed, ever had. He just did a phenomenal job, and everybody that put that movie together, one of the most incredible things ever created.
Yeah, for sure. It was empowering to see a movie of that magnitude do so incredibly well at the box office, because you know what? First and foremost, it's a great story, and it was led by a great actor playing a very significant role for the Black community, which was literally the first Black superhero ever created, and the man represented it well. So may he rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah, he played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42, representing Jackie Robinson's number. It ended up actually being on Jackie Robinson Day that he passed away. I thought that was shocking news. They had moved that date from April 15th because of the pandemic, and it became August 28th. That was amazing that it ended up on that same day where he had represented Jackie Robinson so well on the silver screen.
Yeah. It was. It was maybe poignant to a certain extent, like because he did represent Jackie Robinson. He did show on the big screen all of the trials and tribulations that man had to go through as he tried to play baseball, the sport that he loved, at a time where tensions were quote unquote high, so to speak. So, yeah, he did a miraculous job with that, and he represented what Jackie Robinson was all about in baseball, as a man, as a black man, as a proud black man in the U.S. of A.
Yeah. Yeah, well, obviously Jackie Robinson breaking that color barrier, being that first guy that was able to play in the major leagues of baseball as a black man. Amazing story and an incredible life that he lived. He also portrayed Ernie Davis, Football Hall of Famer, in The Express. He portrayed Thurgood Marshall in the movie Marshall. Portrayed James Brown, an icon, the Godfather of Soul. Just so many iconic roles, and there's going to be some specials tonight on TV for anybody that sees this. They're going to show the Black Panther movie tonight, and then they're going to do after the movie they're going to do a tribute to him. So don't miss that. It'll be incredible. He was a huge fan of the NBA. He had a lot of really close ties to the NBA. I saw pictures of him with many players. Kobe Bryant picture was pretty poignant to see that. Both of them now passed away. He was, a big champion of the NBA league, loved the sport, and they did a really amazing tribute to him, as well as Clifford Robinson and Lute Olson. Talk a little bit about Clifford Robinson, one of the players that played 18 seasons in the league, made the finals a couple years, won a sixth man, had a phenomenal 18-year lengthy career, and Clifford Robinson was really prominent in Portland. Played for a lot of other teams. I always remember him as a Blazer and how great he was then. Talk a little bit about your memories of Cliff.
Yeah, Uncle Cliffy. He was a great player, six-man player. You came off the bench. He was, I would say, in the modern NBA, he would be considered like a spread four because he could guard, he could hop out, he could hit the three. He was a very versatile player, and he was a very, very good player. And also, too, he brought around the fashion of wearing the headband. He always wore that headband well, and it was nice to see the players show their appreciation of what he did for the sport by wearing their headbands as well. A lot of players wore their headbands during that time, and Clifford Robinson was a big part of the Portland Trailblazers' success in the early '90s, and he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah, he sure will be. Yeah, he was the tallest player at the time, 6'10", tallest player to hit 1,000 3-pointers. A lot of guys that size didn't go out beyond the arc and shoot those threes. He played 461 consecutive games, which was a record at the time. Led the Blazers to two championship finals against the Bulls. Obviously, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and all those guys were a little superior and won those championships. But second best team in the league at that time. Won the Sixth Man of the Year at 92, 93, and tons of really amazing tributes. Out of his 18 seasons that he played in the NBA, he only missed the playoffs 1 year when he was with Golden State. Nice to see the Trailblazers wear those headbands and have a moment of silence before the game for Clifford Robinson, one of the best ever. And then also there was some tributes to Lute Olson. He was the coach of the Arizona University for 25 years. Put a lot of guys into the NBA. Took over a program that was really not very good in the Pac-10. When I covered the Pac-10, I had an opportunity to talk to Lute, really genius, very smart basketball guy. And I'd really like to go over a lot of the players that played for him, that made the NBA. But yeah, talk about what he did for the Pac-10 and raising prominence Arizona up to the top of the heap for many years.
Yeah, he most certainly did that. Lute he took on a program that just basically really didn't have a basketball program, and he made it into a powerhouse. And then because of Lute Olson, he was able to better a lot of guys' futures by getting them into the NBA. So a lot of players that have played for Lute or that got into the league owe him a debt of gratitude, which I'm sure they paid that forward multiple times by just doing what he's done for them by helping the youth and helping like the next generation get to that level. Lute Olson is always going to be considered one of the great coaches of college basketball, as he should be, and he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah, he sure will be. Yeah. Made the Basketball Hall of Fame, made the Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame. Yeah, just really amazing coach for that Arizona program. They used to call Arizona University Point Guard U because it had produced so many amazing point guards. Steve Kerr, Mike Bibby, Damon Stoudemire, Jason Terry, among many of the others. Some of the other guys at other positions: shooting guard, small forward, Sean Elliott, Gilbert Arenas, Richard Jefferson, Luke Walton, Andre Iguodala. His grandson is an assistant coach with the Houston Rockets. His granddaughter is assistant coach with the Phoenix Mercury. They'll be able to continue on his legacy and be able to be part of the NBA family. There was a lot of really touching tributes. The Richard Jefferson talk on the jump this past week. Really poignant and great to hear how good of a man he was, how big of an advocate he was for Black Lives Matter and the furthering the Black movements. And it was really nice to hear all the great stories about Lute. I think he was a fantastic guy.
Yeah, he was a fantastic man. He was a great human being. And he was for sure an advocate of the Black Lives Matter movement. And he just did so much for the Black community as a whole. And it's always appreciated for a person of that magnitude to do what he did to further the cause, so to speak.
Yeah, no, it was great. Lived in a fantastic life, 85 years old, and congratulations. Our condolences go to the Boltzmann family, the Robinson family, the Lute Olson family, and all the people that have been touched by their lives. Just remember them, for the great things that they accomplished in their life, and we will remember them with a lot of grace and incredible achievements. So we have to move on to some of the games now. We should, I guess, talk about the opening match in the Eastern semifinal between Toronto and Boston. There was a lot of people that said that Boston's going to give Toronto a ton of trouble because of their depth. They've got scoring from so many different areas, and it proved to be the case today in the 112-94 win Boston had over the Raptors. I'm just going to go down a bit of the scoring for some of the teams. For Boston, Jason Tatum had 21 points, 9 rebounds. Marcus Smart, 21.6 rebounds, 4 assists. Kemba Walker, 18 points, 10 assists. Jaylen Brown, 17 points. Daniel Tice, 13 points. And Williams, 10 points. Down and down their bench. Pretty incredible effort by Boston, and Toronto was in tough today.
Yeah, Toronto was in tough because Boston, what they did was they hit their threes, man. 17 threes, I believe, throughout the totality of that game. And Toronto was cold. They didn't hit from outside. Yeah. Toronto's definitely going to need to shore up their D against those guys going forward. And also, too, they're just going to need to hit their open shots when they do have their open shots. Today, obviously, clearly wasn't their day. But the next time they play, I'm sure that they'll be more on point when it comes to their three-point shooting.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was a big difference. Yeah, it just seemed like Toronto was a little bit off. It's great to see Lowry back. I don't think he was 100%, but nice to see that he's actually been able to hit the court and play some valuable minutes. He had 17 points, 8 assists, and six rebounds today, so pretty good performance. But yeah, I did notice a lot of missed open threes by the Raptors, and yeah, just not as solid of a defense that we normally see. Usually, they're able to really reduce the amount of successful possessions on the other side, and yeah, I think this week has been tough with those games being postponed. I think the only thing that it was an advantage for the Raptors was getting Lowry back, but I think we'll see a different game in Game 2.
Oh yeah, I most certainly believe that we'll definitely see a different game from them in Game 2. Like anybody and everybody within the league, it's hard to switch off that mindset from one thing to the next. You know what I mean? And maybe the Raptors struggled with that a bit, but as pros and as professionals, I'm sure they'll get it together. And the other thing is too, their pick and roll defense clearly needs to be better than what it was today.
Yeah.
Clearly needs to be better than what it was today. So
that's true. Yeah,
they will get it together, and you're going to see a better showing from the Raps in Game 2.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, so that next game was on Tuesday. Yeah, keep tuned to Complete Sports for more details of that. The other series will start tomorrow, 3:30 tip-off our time. Milwaukee, Miami. I think this is going to be a heck of a series. I think we mentioned it last podcast. Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Miami's depth and you keep pointing out to be having the inside-outside game. I think they're going to give Milwaukee a lot of trouble, and I think we're going to see a really long series.
Yeah, I think we're going to definitely see a long series. I think Milwaukee might be playing a lot of zone to try to shore up or try to cover all those shooters that Miami has. But I guess we're going to see exactly what kind of defensive measures the Milwaukee will take. But I think they might use that to mitigate all the open shots that Miami's going to get. Because, Jimmy Butler's going to do his thing. He's going to drive the lane. He's going to do his kickouts. And then on the opposite end, well, Miami just has to contend with the league MVP. They got to contend with Giannis. And Giannis is going to he's going to get his. It's everybody else that will have to step up, and that includes for Milwaukee, Eric Bledsoe and Chris Middleton. Those two need to play well for Milwaukee to get past the Heat. They need to play well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. Well, let's switch to the West. The Lakers were able to knock off Portland. Obviously, once Damian Lillard left the bubble and had to go tend to his injuries, that really didn't bode well for Portland being able to advance any further. I guess Lakers finally asserted their dominance and took the victory. It was dominating performance by LeBron James and the Lakers as a whole.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give Portland credit where credit's due. They scrapped. They fought in that game. But unfortunately, they just didn't have enough. I believe they dressed 9 players because that's all they had. There's 9 players. So they've been clearly decimated by injuries and such. So I give them credit, though. They fought as well as one could, being as handicapped as they were. Because, if you're missing pretty much your best player in Dame time, Damian Lillard, it's going to be tough for any team to try to rise up and win against a team of that magnitude, against the LA Lakers.
Yeah. Steve Nash was the oldest player in NBA history with a 30-point, 10-assist game at 36 years, 85 days. LeBron James just came in a little bit below that, 35 years, 243 days, just ahead of Elgin Baylor and Jerry West as the oldest players with a 30-point, 10-assist game. LeBron's, a absolute marvel at how in incredible shape he is, and how he can lead the Lakers to a big victory. It looks like they'll be facing either Houston or Oklahoma City. Houston's got the 3-2 lead. They play that game 6 tomorrow. Houston, has been able to assert their dominance, and I think they probably will win one of these next 2 games. Thunder could push it, but what are your thoughts?
Well, you know what? Houston's figured out a way to play defense against Oklahoma City, especially when their defensive stopper, Luguentz Dort, is on the floor playing against Harden, which is we'll play all the other guys and we'll just leave Dort wide open. Because unfortunately, the man can't really shoot that well. But I did like how OKC somewhat countered that by using Dort as a screener and then rolling him to the hoop, which they should use more of, so that at least he's a threat going to the hoop. At least he's somewhat involved in the offense, because when they do that spread offense and they just have him waiting out at the wings, they're just going to leave him open at all times. They're basically daring him to beat them, and that's not going to work. They're not going to win games of that nature. And then I noticed offensively for Houston, they were driving more. They weren't settling as much for threes. That was a huge thing for Houston to do that. And also, they attacked Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a lot. You know, they always swung the ball over to his end, because I didn't realize it, but he is a very poor defender. He is a very Ole type defender. So that's something that I think that young man might want to address in the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess both Canadians have things to work on. They're both young. Most of the really good NBA players go into off seasons, figure out what their deficiencies is, what are their weaknesses, deficiencies, and things, and really work on them to eventually become strengths. They're as I said, young guys. Not fully well-rounded yet, but Dort has been really fantastic on the defensive end. Shai Gilgeous had a really amazing season, and was able to take OKC with the help of others really far this year. And but you're right. They're just, I don't think they're ready yet. I think Houston's got the experience getting Russell Westbrook back, even though he wasn't super prominent yesterday. I think that'll lend to them being able to win this series and take it into the next round against the Lakers. Okay, so then the other team that's expected to get out of the West are the Clippers, and they finally dispatched the Mavs today, 4-2. Kawhi Leonard had 33 and 14. Just being able to prove that he's one of the greatest players in the NBA and going after a third title and a third different franchise. Luka Doncic had 38, 9, and 9 today, just 1 rebound, 1 assist away from a triple-double again. Once Kristaps Porzingis went down, I think Dallas was definitely overmatched in this series, but you got to be impressed with the Mavs, Luka, and everything, but the Clippers are just a little bit step above them.
Yeah, the Clippers had too many weapons for the Mavericks to contend with. They just have way too many weapons. And after that buzzer beater win by Luka, kind of woke the Clippers up a little bit. Kind of woke them up. So for the Mavs going forward, their future is going to be ridiculously bright. Ridiculously bright. Because number one, the Mavs have a great owner. His name's not Dolan. And and also too, like just having that combination of Doncic and Porzingis, those two are going to be fantastic for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Long time. But then going forward now with the Clippers, it seems that they've got their act together. It seems that they're now gelling. They're finally playing together as a unit, because they haven't been a full unit for so long, even during this year, during the season. So now that they have all their guys together, man, I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. They're my favorite to win this year.
Wow. Yeah. Well, defensively, I think they're the best in the NBA, and they, as you know, you and I have said, defense wins championships. So, yeah, I think that their depth, having Kawhi have that championship medal and experience, and being able to take over games when he wants to. Yeah, you're probably right. Clippers should be one of the favorites, definitely. They are going to face either the Utah Jazz or the Denver Nuggets. That series has been exciting and really fun to watch, with Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray going against each other. Donovan's had a little bit better of Murray. They lead 3-2, but super impressed with the Canadian and what he's done. And they're going to be playing tonight at 5:30. They're going to try to extend that series and go for a 7th game. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's been so fun to watch these two young guys battle it out every night.
Oh yeah, man! Like this series, these games have been amazing. It's been amazing, man. I have no idea who is favored in this particular game. I would love to see Denver win so I could get to see a 7th game, because I'm greedy. I love good basketball, and I'd love to see these guys keep going at it. Yeah, Jamal Murray has been playing out of his mind in this series, and I hope that continues. Actually, you know what? I know it's going to continue. And the same goes for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is pretty much, it seems like he's almost taken on the offensive load of himself and Bogdanovich, who would normally be there with the team. So I expect tonight's game is going to be a barn burner. I expect it to be one of the best games played in playoffs during these playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we're less than an hour away from tip off, and yeah, I think Denver's gonna give them the big run for their money, and it would be really fun to see a 7th game in this playoffs. The East was crazy. There was only one victory by any of the teams that didn't win. It was almost a clean sweep. The West has had some very tight series, and no tighter series than this one. This will be fun. Don't miss it. Tune it in tonight. I'm hoping Denver extends it to a 7th game and we get some more basketball. Game 7s are always great because both teams got to lay it on the line or they're going home. So yeah, I think it'll be really, really fun and something to talk about with a lot of people for years to come.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't wait. I can't wait to get back and then start watching that game and just really dig in, because it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one.
Okay, yeah, that was an amazing breakdown of the NBA and all the things in the world that have been affected by the social injustice and all the things that they've been dealing with. Really kudos to the NBA Players Association and the NBA owners getting together and taking a stand for these issues and trying to move forward. And really great to see games boycotted. Shed a lot of light on all the issues and problems, and I'm happy that we're moving forward in a better place. And onwards and upwards. Let's see real change happen. South of the border, north of the border, across the world. And really nice to see a lot of this, a lot of these problems being addressed and hopefully eradicated, and we can move forward as a more tight knit group. And you see it in many of these sports. Black athletes, white athletes, many other cultures are together, and they all get along really, really well. I don't know why it can't be that way in society too.
Yeah, they're a great model for how society could be potentially, and hopefully will be in the future. We just need to put forward the work so that we can all get there, so that we can all just be on the same equal playing field, so that eventually at some point in time, I don't have to explain to my kids why they feel that they're being judged. They can just be kids and just go out and play and not have to worry about skin color or anything else, because they just take the person as an individual, and that's it.
Well said. Very well said. I'm sure we'll be able to do this a week from now. And yeah, thanks for your time as always.
Oh man, I look forward to it. Thank you for having me again. And the last thing I want to say is change is not easy. To affect change takes a lot of perseverance and hard work, and it will come in time. But it's a fight that so many people are getting on board because it's a fight worth winning and fighting. And so as we go through this in time, eventually, slowly but surely, we will change things for the better for ourselves and for our future generations.
Nice. Oh man, well said as always. Yeah, I look forward to our time every week, Jason, and it's nice to see the world changing. We obviously had a world-changing moment with this pandemic, and it caused the world to have to stop for a few minutes and reflect on, the things that are right in the world and the things that are wrong in the world. And obviously, when this Black Lives Matter movement came on, everyone was finally able to really shed some light and say enough is enough. We're not moving forward anymore with these things happening constantly. It's been a 400-year battle, and yeah, I'm sure there's more battles ahead, but it's great to see some really good moments coming as the change is happening, and maybe the change won't be too far into the future.
Yeah, for sure. Amen, brother. Amen to that.
Amen. Okay, I'll send you on your way. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a great week ahead. I'm sure we'll be in close contact and look forward to next time. Thanks so much, Jason. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye for now.